This is an Elite Daniel Bryan.
And this is a basic Daniel Bryan.
What is the difference? And also, what is the difference between an older basic figure like this and a newer basic figure? We're going to compare them right now. So, welcome back to Top Rope Toys. My name is Bobby.
My name is Jason.
And, check these out. We're going to compare them. And his name is Jeff Handy. If you can guess why, leave a comment below. If you've seen our previous videos, you will know why. But we're going to go up close with Elite versus Basic versus New Basic versus Old Basic versus the world, like Scott Pilgrim. Let's do it.
Making their way onto your screens now, the team of Link, Jason, and Bobby, the finest wrestling figure collecting trio in all of the United Kingdom. It's Top Rope Toys!
Jason is the hands behind the camera, and there's two of us behind camera, which is kind of a weird angle to be filming from, but we'll do our best. Jason is newer to collecting than I am, so let's go through the differences, right? I mean, you pretty much know most of the differences, right?
Yeah, some of it is quite obvious, but to do a fair comparison,
Let's get out.
we picked up this on for eBay. If you get up nice and close, you see he has been taped back in his box. The box is beat, but let's let him breathe.
Let him breathe. So there we go. We have two Daniel Bryans. One is Elite. Elite. And the other one is a basic, but it's an older basic, which is why Jeff Handy and Ronda Rousey are also here in picture. So I think it was around about 2017 that the basics changed from the older style, which Daniel Bryan is, to the newer style, which is not as good. So if you buy basics, the older ones are pretty good. The new ones pretty much suck. But the main differences are articulations. So
should we work our way down from the top?
let's work our way down from the top. So head articulation, pretty easy movement, and his head might fall off. No, it's on there pretty good. Has he got any up and down? A little bit, right? Not as much. Then, so the arms actually, to be quite honest, are not that much different. Got the bicep swivel, which they both have, and you've got single jointed elbows on these. So some of the newer ones have double jointed elbows, but this has a single jointed elbow. So the arms on these two are not that much different, but on the newer ones, they're double jointed. Are you familiar with the difference between the double jointed and the single jointed elbow?
Yeah, so like the knees and the AEW figures,
Yeah, okay. This is an AEW figure, but basically you see there's a joint here and a joint here, and it just gives you way more articulation on it, as opposed to a single joint, which normally gives you about 90 degrees, just over. Then, so at the waist, you've got the swivel on both, I think. Yeah. However, the Elites have like the ab crunch, which is both a blessing and a burden, in my opinion. If you're doing figure photography or if you're playing with them as a kid, like having that ab crunch is really useful.
have to confirm as a kid.
Like as a kid, yeah, right. You want that, but to have it when you've got it on display, it doesn't look so cool, right? It is a bit of an eyesore, but it is part of it. I prefer the way AEW does it. I think it's less of an eyesore on them.
Yeah.
Because it's not like a square, but it is what it is. This is how Elites are done. That's how they've always been done, and we're used to it now, right?
Yeah.
Then on the legs, you've got quite a lot of articulation in the legs on an Elite.
Not so much on the basic.
Not so much on the basic, and you've got a thigh swivel here on the Elite.
No thigh swivel.
No thigh swivel on the basic. And you can't see them because of the knee pads, but they're double jointed knees on an Elite, which the knee pads get in the way of, but it gives you quite a lot of angle on the knee. and you get far less angle on a basic. And then the feet, the elite feet have a forward and back. Elite feet are notorious for being dodgy, by the way.
Yep.
Like, there's always one that doesn't seem to work for me, but this one, you get the forward and back like this. Do you get much forward and back on that basic?
Yeah. No, it's about
You
that.
get a fair amount, but you don't, I don't think, get these side to side. Get this side to side.
There's
Swivel
no
out,
wiggle.
swivel. No.
But we've got a little turn in the low knee.
You got like a boot cut, which
Yeah, a little twist in the boot.
also the Elite has that too. So that is the main differences. The head sculpts on basics nowadays are actually pretty good, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think these are both pretty comparable.
So like this Jeff Hardy, even like that face scan is like solid, right? Like,
yeah.
solid face scan. The body, however, being a new basic, minus the fact that it's missing a hand. Ignore that for now, because I am the Frankenstein of wrestling figure collecting. The newer basic has essentially lost this joint in the bicep here, so you can't turn at the bicep like a human being would. You have to turn the whole arm. It makes it quite awkward to pose. It gives you very much restricted posing. The angling of the elbow joint is restricted too in some aspects, depending on where you position it. And the legs on this particular figure, some are not as bad. This particular one has these like weird, like almost looks like John Cleese, is that his name? In an episode of Faulty Towers.
Oh, yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Ministry of Funny Words.
Right. And yeah, you get like a 90-degree, you get straight forward and back like this stuff going on. There's no outwards, there's no twist apart from at the waist. You can't twist the leg. There's nothing like that. There's a little bit of angle here.
That's probably because his foot's about forward.
That's possible. And then just to show you another newer basic, female basic, but some of the male ones are similar. This one, again, no thigh swivel. This one does have the boot cut there to swivel it with, and this one, restricted knee movement, very restricted leg movement, and again, that bicep cut is gone, which the older ones had. All right, so again, harder to pose and not as articulated as an older basic. So older basics look pretty good on display. You can pose them fairly well. Elites are obviously called elites for a reason, only to be topped by ultimates, which I don't have any of here actually, to be able to show you the comparison on that one. But this is what we wanted to do, right? Basic versus elite, what's the difference? So I believe it was Elite Series 77 where it changed from the bicep swivel to no bicep swivel,
Right.
which was like, I think it was like September, I can't speak. I think it was like September of 2017 that happened. So any figures pre that date are better. Depending how you want to pose them. If you just want to like stand them with the arms by their sides, they look okay, right?
Yeah.
But after they changed, I've like basically just said I'm not going to buy basics anymore because they just suck. You can't do anything with them. They're pointless. The only thing they're good for is if you like boil them and pop the heads off,
Yeah.
and you can switch them onto an elite body. Apart from that, not really useful for much, apart from like kids to fling off massive launches.
Yeah. I mean, there's always space for launching a figure with a massive launcher.
Yeah, so yeah, if you've got kids and they want figures to chuck around at each other, basics are fine for that, right? But for us snobby collectors, it's all about being the elite, I guess. So there you have it, full comparison. I guess the gist of it is, elites are really good articulation-wise. Basics sometimes look better in the torso because they don't have that joint.
Yep.
And new basics suck, and old basics were pretty good in comparison.
Yeah.
I think that's about it, right? So if you didn't know the difference, now you do. Thank you for watching. Please check out the Top Rope Toy social media. Hit the subscribe button if you enjoyed this video and you like wrestling figures, which, while you're watching this, if you don't,
And I hope you learned as much as I did.
Jason's learning too. Bye.